Hey guys, so I think live shows are more fun when John is here, but he is working this Sunday. So until he calls me to come get him from work, I will be on live. And I'm currently fighting with a Navajo ply that I'm trying to get on, and I didn't have enough twist in it to keep it from falling apart in some spots, so hopefully it doesn't just fall apart on me. It's trying to again. It just drives me crazy. Anyway, okay, so hey, off-grid lifestyle. And I heard that there's a YouTuber out there that got hurt by a pig on his property. He got tusked in the knee, and I'm trying to remember what the name of the channel was. I think it was SSL was the acronym for the channel. So they've been asking for prayers for him for his leg. Hopefully you can't hear the kids out there playing louder than what I'm talking about. So today we have been in the 80s. We've had a little bit of humidity, and that's kind of a new one for us. 80 degrees Fahrenheit in April. The girls and I went to church, and Paige actually spoke in church. She taught in church today. Mama grows so she can hear the kids, but you can still hear me, so good. Yeah, they're out with the neighbor kids playing. They have been all day. The funny thing to me is that the kids, when we went out to take care of the horses and do chores today, they acted like they were dying in the heat, like I was so mean to make them go out and take care of their horses. But as soon as we got back home and they could go play with their friends, they haven't complained about the heat since then. So there you go on that one. We have not sold the horses. I actually have only let one family come out and look at them because it just felt very emotional to try and sell them at the same time that we were going back to Idaho to sell the house. It all just felt like we were letting go of too many things all at once. So the horses are still out there, and unless I sell them in like the next 24 hours, which if I don't respond to ads, it's hard for people to come look at the horses. You have to actually let people come see them. So I kind of take that as a sign that I don't really want to sell them. So news on the house. We have an extension for the house that we wanted to buy here because they still don't have a title. They've extended the contract till June 1st. So we have a month. And our renters did indeed put money down and get accepted on this house that they bought. So I am leaving on Wednesday to go get the house ready and sell the little cabin once the renters are out of the big house, most likely. It all just feels like a big muddle right now. But the way that I focus on it is just, let's see. I did not know that Aardvarks ate hamburger. Oh, I can't. This is the other reason why it's easier when John is here to help me with live shows, is I have a very hard time seeing what people are writing from this distance. I wonder if I can bring you in a little bit so I can see things. Let's see. I'm afraid to move it because at least the stream doesn't look as bad as it usually does. So let's see what people are saying because I can't see very good. Mama Grow said, what is the future of the off-grid cabin? So the off-grid cabin is either going to be sold with the house as a storage shed because I can't sell it as another livable structure. It's not livable. It's not on a permanent foundation. It doesn't have plumbing. It doesn't have water because we hand pump and do all that kind of thing when we're out there. Let's see. And so I can sell it as a storage shed, but I can't sell it for any of the other things that I've done to it because it's not habitable according to code and law and that kind of thing. And so if we were living in the big house while we were selling it, then while we were selling the big house, then I could sell it separately, but we'll just be using it until the renters are out in a few weeks. So there will be some videos also. Darwin over at the Honeydew Carpenter is doing up his rocket stove 3.0. with a special new mix that turns into ceramic, like tile, but it's a pourable ceramic tile core for the rocket stove. So I will be playing with that when I get there. And he will have a PDF up for that once he has it finished. He did a Kickstarter for it, and this is the stove that he's going to be able to ship out to people as a kit for people to put together. And so I will be playing with that in the off-grid cabin, which I'm really glad for. I think I would struggle a lot if I was going back to just get the house ready for sale and I wasn't kind of making some good memories with it for a little bit. Off-grid lifestyle said sweet hamburger dinner. Yep. So probably most of the videos when I get there are just going to be of the off-grid cabin and of me getting all the fruit trees and all the permaculture whipped into shape and beautiful for the new owners. And I'm sure that I'm going to be emotional about it. And that's okay. A lot of things that are transitions in life are emotional. Hey Sandra, how are you? Adventurous Aardvark said I had to add an air pump for oxygen to the pump to get it balanced. Did I miss something? In your casserole, you're using an air pump on your casserole. Well, that sounds interesting. Oh, to the pond. Okay, to the pond. The thing that I struggle with when I sell a house is that I want to walk the new owners through the property and explain to them what each of the trees is for. I want to show them where the apricots are and the peaches and how to prune the peaches so that they'll bear even though it's in Idaho. And yet most people who are buying property are not really interested in the landscaping productivity as much as they are in the house, which is very backwards from what I think it should be. You should always be more interested in your dirt than in your house. And so at our last house, when we moved from our last house, I had grapevines and raspberry vines and honeyberry, and 2 peach trees and a cherry tree and elderberries and aronia berries all planted on this little 1/10 of an acre plot. And I left them a map explaining to them what each one of these trees and bushes was and how important it was that they water them and treat them well. And I go back and check on that property at least twice a year, where I do a drive-by and I look to see if the peach trees are bearing, and they always are. They were good peach trees. They were seedling peach trees, which we're zone 3-4 in Idaho, where I am in Idaho. And so to be able to get peach trees to produce is something of a miracle. So I drive by and check on them every 6 months when I'm in town. At this property, it would be quite the map, because I've got well over 100 fruit trees and bushes. And I want to explain to them the reasoning behind why I water the way I water, and what time of year they need to be looking for this, and what time of year they need to be eating this, and where the asparagus is, and all that kind of thing. But it's probably a little bit creepy of me to want to do that. So maybe what I'll do is make them a video and leave them the link in the house and be like, I made you this special video and I'm showing you how to set up the watering system every year. And I'm going to show you exactly where all the special trees are, and none of these trees are poisonous. Your kids can eat anything you see out here. It's all edible. Don't let the grapevine climb up into the pear tree. You know, that kind of thing. Still very controlling and creepy. Adventurous Aardvark said, I have like 10,000 tadpoles and they're eating me out of house and home. Are they eating your mosquitoes? We've got turtles out at the pony pond, and it's been really interesting to me to see that we really don't have very many mosquitoes, even though there's 1, 2, 3 ponds right there on our pony property, and we don't have a problem with mosquitoes at all, but we have a lot of turtles. Or maybe it's frogs. We haven't been out there late enough to really hear any frogs. Jason A said, I feel that the land we ended up getting was logged for 15 years. Only raspberries and maples left. Oh, wow. Who sounds like we would be best neighbors? What?
I'm grabbing some rubbing alcohol because Ozzy got multiple cuts. Like
From what?
climbing a tree.
Does he want rubbing
I asked
alcohol?
him if he wanted it. I'm gonna grab it for him.
But does he want rubbing
He said
alcohol?
sure.
And let him put it on himself instead of bathing him in rubbing alcohol, okay? I don't know. We might have some in a spray bottle. There's
Some
probably some upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay, but calm down. Hey Mandolin, how are you? Yeah, I hope they would enjoy a video like that. Most people, when they look at my property, they probably think that's not a very big property. You really couldn't grow that much on it. But it's 1.5 acres, and it grows a huge amount of food just because we do it intensively. You don't need 5 acres if you take care of your land the right way. It just depends on what you want to raise on that land. If all you ever want to eat is beef, then yeah, you can have 1 cow on that property. But you don't do it, Kaya. You let Azir do it.
I thought we weren't supposed to say names.
Sandra Clark said, how are the bunnies? So the bunnies left last week. The bunnies were sold first thing because John wasn't. Okay, girls, no, you're not getting a cloth. Just let him handle it, honey. You're overreacting. I don't have a. What was the question? The bunnies are fine. They went to a friend down south of us, I believe. And she took all of the bunnies and all but the 1 cage that I needed to keep.
Stop!
Girls. So the bunnies are doing good somewhere else. John can go out and take care of chores for horses once a day, and pretty much it's pretty straightforward. But I was really worried about the rabbits not being well if I wasn't there to take care of them. The horses are pretty self-maintaining as long as you give them a salt lick and water. Miss Dragonfly is on a diet, so she's in a separate pen from Gunner right now, and we're trying to put weight on him. So they're both in separate pens right now to take care of their weight needs. Okay, Stephapal Opal said, greetings from New Orleans. Hello, hello, 50 acres. Wow. AG Survival said, I went with my son on a field trip to Shepherd's. I know Shepherd's Cross. Oh, Shepherd's Cross is really fun. My friend Bobby works over there sometimes. Megan said, I have a little over a ½ acre of land, and would 2 sheep be healthy and happy on it? It depends on how you take care of it. The way that we're able to graze 6, 7, 8 goats and sheep on our 1.5 acres, where actually half of that we don't use as pasture, it's gardens and house. The way that we do that is that we keep them tethered, which is very similar to mob grazing. If you have them on a tether, they stay in the same place, and instead of just picking and choosing what they want and not really grazing it down, you leave them on it for a couple days, they get it grazed down so that it's a good height and so that weeds don't take over, and then you move them to another spot. So if you have that whole ½ acre and they're always allowed to be on that ½ acre, you will have one particular plant that will take over, and it will not be a varied pasture that will actually support them. You need to either do a paddock system that they can eat in each spot for like maybe 3 days, and then you move them to another spot, or you need to tether them. But if you tether them, it needs to be done right so that they have shelter, and so that they have, I like to put PVC on the end of my grazing stakes because it will keep the rope from wrapping around their legs while they're getting trained. It trains them to step over the rope instead of letting it wrap around their leg. And so I do my grazing systems very specifically, and if I didn't do that, we would have a field overrun with weeds, or just not enough grass for everybody. You have to keep them in a certain spot till they've eaten it down to a certain point. Okay, Paul Opal said, I have chickens and cows and everything. That is awesome. My children are out there, and I hope that nobody dies. They have this little fight club thing that they do, and I really don't want anybody to get hurt. At least not permanently hurt. They're always getting hurt because they're fighting, but I don't want anybody to actually get injured. Alright. Hello, Grandpa Jones. How are you? Hello, Homesteading the Pioneer Way. Hello, Tubular Guy 9. Oh, the comments go way too quickly and I can't keep up on it. So any minute now, John might call. So I'm sorry if I don't get to your comments and I have to pop off. Paul Opal said, I need to work on gardening and my chickens keep getting eaten by raccoons. I've tried everything because they are outside and something gets in the chicken house at night. Homestead says, I have 6 does and 2 bucks. AG Survival said, rule number 1, you don't talk about Fight Club. Yeah. I worry sometimes if the parents really know what goes on in these little fight clubs they have on. But the kids absolutely love it. They have these little fake weapons, and they have costumes that they sew for themselves, and they go out and climb trees, and they have races, and they beat each other up with sticks. And it's pretty fun. I would call it something very similar to just playing. When I was a kid, it looks exactly like what we would have called playing when I was a kid. So, and all of our neighbor kids are really good kids. We really like them. So, as long as nobody loses an eye, you know. The Garden Channel says, ticks are horrible here this year. Would you run bantams or large fowl chickens with goats? I like to run poultry with my goats as long as they're not ducks, because ducks will bathe in their water and it's really hard to keep goats' water clean when you've got ducks running out there with them. So I keep ducks in the garden to keep down slugs, and I let chickens and guinea and turkeys or whatever you have out with the goats, and that way they'll get water from the goats' water, but they won't muddy it. They won't foul the water. They'll just drink out of it. The nice thing is the chickens will eat any bugs they see. For us, it was difficult because at one point we were digging ditches and setting up watering systems like that, and we would have ants in the berms that we were making, and the chickens, bless their little hearts, would go out there and dig up our berms and our swales and things like that, trying to eat the ants, and it would absolutely destroy our earthworks that we put up. So we actually kept the chickens out of the pasture for 2 years. Even at the same time that we left is when we probably could have let the chickens back into the pasture, and that's just because they were destroying our permaculture earthworks and our watering systems, trying to get to the bugs. So they do their work, you know. Okay, the comment disappeared. Let's see. Let's see what else. So once again, Bobby has taken my herb starts again this year, because everything that I had started, we didn't get into new property or anything soon enough to be able to not be leaving them and having John not able to keep up with everything, because he's going to be working the whole time that I'm gone. And if I need him to go out and take care of horses, it's not really very fair to also ask him to take care of all my garden and rabbits and everything else that he's going to be responsible for. The Garden Channel said, I won't keep ducks. Been there, done that. We like to keep ducks as long as we have a couple chickens in there with them and we have enough mulch, and that way they don't make a nasty slimy mess on everything. They'll eat the slugs, but then the chickens will go in behind them and fluff the bedding back up so that it's not slimy. That's how we have found it works, is with a deep mulch system and a couple chickens to follow behind them. Garden Channel said, I had 50 chickens, but my neighbors kept tempting them into the road with obvious results. That's too bad. Why would your neighbors tempt them into the road? awful. Alright, at some point I should probably show you the results of this. The garden channel said I have ducks. Oh, do clay? Oh, I can't read it. It keeps leaving. Sorry. The comments keep disappearing. A couple of large fowl now. AG survival, so be blessed all. Thank you. I hope everybody still has their eyeballs. I listen, and sometimes their war cries sound like sobbing or screeching in pain. Let's see, what else? No, oh, there was a nice gentleman down at the park that I talked to the other night who had just caught 50 pounds of catfish down by the river. They were enormous. And they were so heavy he could barely carry them out. He knew all the tricks, same as my neighbor back home in Idaho. He is a masterful fisherman, hunter, everything to do with it. Because he grew up in the area, he knows all the tricks. So I don't really have a lot of extra, I don't really have a lot of extra news tonight besides what I already gave you. We leave on Wednesday, really early in the morning. I have 3 really fun Airbnbs I want to show you guys. I did want to go and be in the RV Airbnb to show you how you can make money from your RV when it's the off season, but it was fully booked. It was completely booked. So I couldn't get in there. But I found some others that I thought were really fun. So hopefully you guys tune in for that. Stephapol Opal said, didn't know that about the water with ducks, etc. I love to learn. Got notified. Glad you made the stream. Me too. Thank you for coming in. Let's see. One of the things I'd like to do with the little cabin when we get to Idaho, if it took longer to get the house sold than what we think it will, it's very much a seller's, is it a seller's market because there's not enough houses? Is that what it's called? If it takes longer than what John is anticipating to sell the house, the thing that I would be excited to do to the cabin would be to add bug netting to the whole front of the deck and maybe put in a sauna into a separate building for showers, so I could use the first rocket stove in there. Once the new rocket stove is in, take the old rocket stove and put it in a sauna next to the house so that we can use the stove there to heat up that room and shower off-grid still, but not have to use the clear plastic to hold the heat into the front of the cabin and shower on the deck like we were before. But in the winter, it's really important to have that plastic on front of the cabin, kind of like turning it into a mudroom because it holds the heat in and holds the snow out. So it's kind of hard not to just put up plastic and leave it up. It just works really well to use that extra space on the front of the cabin. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I'm having a hard time reading them. Third Eye Jedi said, 80s in April, welcome to Oklahoma. At least you're in Tulsa and not down by the Red River. Is it even worse down there? It's been really nice and warm the last few days, and it's new for us. We're used to it being overcast here, and this is really the first time we've seen a lot of truly bright blue sky. And it gets hot really quick. I didn't think the humidity was that bad today. We did have one day, I think last week, where I did feel like the humidity was really, really bad. Sorry, my nose itches. But it was warm. It was warm today. We all have just a tiny bit of a... Oh, John's trying to call me. How do I text him while still talking to you guys to say, do you want me to come get you? Lassie girl, where's Timmy? Honey, he doesn't watch my live shows. I might have to just go just to see if that's what he needs, if that's why he's calling. or if his coworker is dropping him off again. I don't know. And Mandolin said they had a great trip to Mount Magazine. Okay, he is trying to get a hold of me, so I need to see. Hold on, guys. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to text him. Let's see if I can figure out how to text him while also being in a live stream, just because I'm... All right, so hopefully he gets back to me. I'm going to see if I can read these last questions really quick. What? He's getting a taxi? Oh, I'm the taxi. Okay. All right, I have to go get him. Thanks for coming in, everybody. I think a sauna is a great idea. But at the same time, in the winter, if you put that clear plastic up around the front of your porch, you actually have a workroom. So I could do all my woodworking in there. So in the winter, at least, I need to have that plastic in front. And so if the plastic is up, then we just shower in there and it's really warm. Gotta go get my hubby. So the next time you see it, we will be